It is 5 p.m. We are walking into Poker House and we are not leaving for 24 hours.
It is the 24-hour challenge.
Who is gonna last the longest?
Hoodie, sweatpants on, I got food in the fridge, just drank a coffee, I'm lasting the longest, and I have the biggest win. 2 for 2, I promise you Frankie for the win.
If you play poker with me, you know I play till all hours of the night. This is gonna be a piece of cake for me. Rosie and Frankie have never played this late. It's gonna be easy, I'm gonna win this challenge.
Because I'm prepared. You know, guys, this wasn't just for the intro. We brought pajamas. These guys don't have cozy materials. We are going to be here for the long run. I'm not worried. I'm actually not worried at all. First hand for me, ace-7 of spades within the first hour. 5:35 p.m. We're in the hijack. The button straddle's on for 5. Under the gun +1 opens to 20. We make the call, the cutoff calls, and the big blind calls. So we're 4 ways to a flop, which comes ace-3-6, 2 hearts, no spade. It checks to me, no c-bet from the aggressor, and we have a weak kicker. We're multi-way here. I like to exhibit some pot control right away and go for the check, a little bit of deception too. The cutoff checks as well. So we're off to a turn, which is the deuce of hearts. Kind of the bummer about slow playing is the front door flush gets there right away. The big blind checks, and now the pre-flop aggressor leads out for 35. A delayed c-bet, but it's less than half the size of the pot, and it honestly feels pretty weak. Like he's trying to set his own price perhaps. Like he almost certainly would c-bet an ace of his own on the flop. So I feel pretty good at this point. I raise to $125. The cutoff folds, the big blind folds, and under the gun +1 goes into the tank but makes the call. So we're off to a river with 335 at stake, and it's an offsuit 4. He checks it over to us, and looking at this board, I don't think we can get much value from worse. So let's take this puppy to showdown. We check it back, and he shows pocket jacks. Interesting. I don't really think we could have got more from him on the river, so I like how we played this one. It takes us just over 1 hour to pick up pocket aces in the small blind. Let's go. Under the gun +1 opens to 15. 2 people call. We're coming in for a 3-bet, and we choose $75 as our wager sizing. The initial raiser folds, but the first caller calls. So we're still off to a flop, heads up, out of position, which comes king jack 6 with 2 diamonds. Time to bet small, as we would with a lot of our 3-bet holdings. I make it just 50, trying to keep him in after his call pre-flop. No, he doesn't have anything. He makes the fold, but we take it down.
We're playing 1-2-5 today. I got jack 10 of spades in the hijack, my favorite hand. Let's do a long 24-hour session. Let's go. Hijack, I make it $30 to go. The big blind calls, and the button, he's an older gentleman, looks a little timid. He makes the call for my larger opening sizing, and the flop comes 6-5-6, 2 clubs. I check to that button, and he makes a check back. Turn comes the 9 of hearts, and at this point when it checks to me, I think I need to start bluffing, get those ace, king, queen highest fold. So I make it $50 to go, and the button is sticky. He makes the call, and the big blind folds. We're looking for a jack or a 10. That's just what comes, the 10 of hearts on the river. Now I'm trying to get max value versus a 9 versus pocket pairs. I go for it all. I jam for $240 over the size of the pot, and the button looks very disgusted, makes the fold saying he had ace, king. So he slow played it pre-flop, and we get to take it from him post-flop. Next hand, we have a Texas Hold'em bomb pot, $5 each player. We have jack 10 offsuit, and the first board comes jack 7-5. We've got top pair, and that bottom board comes queen 8-4. We got a gut shot straight draw, and the small blind player leads out for $15. We make the call, low jack makes the call, and the cutoff makes the call. We might have just gotten the perfect turn cards. How about the 10 of clubs and the 9 of diamonds? It's like it was written in a movie. Small blind checks to me. I lead out for $60. The low jack makes the call, the cutoff folds, and the big blind who short stack jams for $66. Of course, we both make the call. In the rivers come the king of clubs and the 2 of hearts. Now I want to decide if I want to jam or go for a smaller value bet, and I decide because I've got a straight and 2 pair, I've got both boards. If I only had one board here, I would definitely go all in, trying to maximize my fold equity, try to scoop the pot. But because I've got both boards locked up, I decided to go for a value bet of $100, and the low jack doesn't oblige. He makes the fold, but we do win the pot. We beat queen 8 of hearts, and we're scooping in our second big pot of the night.
We're caffeinated up for this challenge, ready to go, and am immediately greeted by the ladies in early position. There's a young gentleman at my table. It's actually his birthday today. Happy birthday, my man. And he's been sipping on whiskey all night long. His chips must be allergic to alcohol though, because the more whiskey that enters his body, the more chips leave his stack. The very last hand, he proudly showed the table that he tried to get away with squeezing 5-3 offsuit huge. He's on the button straddle this hand, so I limp under the gun for $5 to set the trap. folds all the way around to the small blind who limps, big blind folds, and it's on him to act. He must have just took a massive sip right over his red chips because 5 of them jump into the middle as he raises to $25. The small blind calls, and like clockwork, I raise to 100. Maniac doesn't hesitate, he sticks in the calling chips, and the small blind folds. Off to a flop with only about 2 pot-sized bets behind, and it comes ace 8-3 with 2 spades. We don't like the ace, but we're still going to bet small with all of our limp raising range on this type of board.
60, all of it. Only thing that beats me is a snap call, baby. Or a pair of nuts.
Oh wow, what a spot. He could have the flush draw, but I think he knows we'll have plenty of strong ace-x hands in our range when we limp raise here, so I hardly believe he would just go all in when given such a good price to call in position. Although he's a maniac, I believe him and make the fold. He shows the 3 of clubs as he scoops in the pot, which actually was a sign of relief because that means he almost certainly had either ace 3 of clubs or a set of 3s. What do you guys think?
In this hand, there's no straddle. We have ace queen offsuit and we're playing against our buddy Jello. Okay, I make it $10 to go. Small blind calls and Jello in the big blind makes the call. Let's see if we can send him home early and win this challenge. Flop comes queen 10-5. Great start. I lead out for half pot. I make it $15 to go. Should go a little bigger, whatever. Small blind folds. Jello makes the call. The turn is the 2 of hearts, a brick. It's time to size up to $50 now, and Jello in the big blind makes the call. Usually I would overbet here, but I think Jello's gonna be folding tighter against me because he thinks I'm tight. And well, he's not wrong, but I'm also bluffing here a lot too. So because I have a value hand, I decide to size down, and the river comes the 7 of diamonds. Pot is $160. I decided to go for a very polar bet, and for the second time tonight, I'm going all in. I jammed for $225. Jello makes the fold. We don't know what he had, but Jello, please tell the vlog, what did you fold?
This 24-hour challenge will be light work if we keep waking up with monsters. We're dealt ace king in the small blind and face a casual $30 open from the birthday maniac, a call from the cutoff, and we raise it up to 150. The maniac has 2 cards in his hand. That's clearly enough to call for 120 more, and the cutoff is out of there. Heads up to a not so great looking flop. Jack 10-8 all spades. We've got nothing but 2 overs, but could likely have the best hand. If we check, we're pretty much forced to surrender to any bet. I don't love it, but I exploitatively bet small to $50 here to maintain control of the pot and gauge the strength of his hand.
Is that really gonna fold for 50? No, I hope not.
After that comment, I don't think his hand is too strong, so when the jack of diamonds peels off on the turn, it discounts top pair, and I think we've got just enough behind to get weak pocket pairs or maybe even an 8 to fold. I go all in for 190 and he snap folds.
All right, we've worked our stack up from 500 to 700 as Jack blind raises to 10 and we look down at ace queen offsuit. There's a call to 10 and under the gun 1. I'm under the gun 2 and make it $50 to go. Jack, thanks for creating this action. The hijack makes the call. The small blind makes the call. Jack makes the call. What does he have? And then the under the gun 1 player who just called the 10 goes all in for $210. Wow, okay, so we could fold, sure. Okay, I'm not doing that, but he just called 10. Did he trap me? Let's find out. I jam all in for $700 because we don't want to let anyone else in the pot. There's also so much dead money in the middle that I'm happy to flip if he has a hand like pocket 10s, pocket 9s, pocket 8s. So with all that money in the middle, we're happy to go all in, and thankfully everyone else folds. But now we have to go see a board. He asked me to run it once. I say, let's go. And we do see a very nice flop of queen high. The turn and river, we're beating all 8s, 9s, 10s. What does he have? Pocket kings. We lose this one and our profit for the night is taken away, but we still have a long night ahead of us, including a over $2,000 pot coming up.
If I had drank as much whiskey as this guy, I would be on the ground by now. There's a low jack open to 20. We 3-bet ace 10 offsuit and the cutoff to 60. Folds around to birthday boy in the big blind who casually bumps this one up to 385. Low jack surrenders and we're next to act. In normal situations, this is a snap fold to a 4-bet, and even against most maniacs, ace 10 offsuit is simply not strong enough to justify risking your 350 big blind stack. However, this was no normal situation. Just a few hands ago, our guy pulled the exact same move with king 7 offsuit. I'm paying attention like a hawk because I want that birthday money all to myself. A good poker player actively is looking for exploits against each opponent, and I think that this is a spot for me. I go for it. I 5-bet rip my stack for $750, and not to my surprise, he snap calls. He asks to go twice, I say sure, and he flips over his cards to show me he has us in terrible shape with ace-queen offsuit. We headed 2 runouts looking to spike a 10. Jack 8-4, 5, Jack, that won't do it. 8-3 deuce is no help either. Turn 7 of clubs and we're drawing slim. I'm reaching back into my backpack for rebuy chips until the bink 10 of diamonds falls on the river. We get super lucky to save our stack in this massive spot after making quite a light move, but I guess that's the benefit of being a maniac because no one ever believes you.
Here we have ace king on the button. Under the gun +2 opens it up to 20. The cutoff calls, we're bumping it up. I 3-bet to $110. Under the gun +2 folds, and I want to set the tank timer on the cutoff here.
Long Hollywood, whatever that was.
Come on, he got go big.
How much is it? I don't think I can pull, but that's really suspicious what you just did.
The all-ins for 430, and that is straight up the sussest tank of all time. Flats the initial raise, and then tank 4-bet back jams. Is that the technical term? I think so. What hand even does that? I don't know. It seems so nutted. Am I supposed to hero fold ace king? I think about it. We block aces and kings. We've got a lot out there. He could just be doing some weird stuff. So I make the call. And he shows pocket queens. You know we're running it once, so here we go with over $850 at stake.
Come on. Oh! Oh! I tell you, it's a good bid right there.
We take down a big one. Just need to hit flips.
Yo, Frank, what's up?
I'm here for the long run. Gotta be relaxed.
Pajama fence?
We've got pocket 8s in the low jack. We're comfy, but we might be slightly uncomfy in a sec. The button straddle's on for 5. Under the gun +2 opens it up to 25. I make the call, the cutoff makes the call, and the mega action player in the small blind, first we're getting involved with him. He makes it $110. Under the gun +2 calls the $110, and the under the gun +2 calling makes me like this. I mean, we're very deep, 1060 effective to start the hand. We're playing against a really action player. It's a lot to put in the pot knowing we very well could be behind, but if we hit that set, that snowman on the flop, we could win a massive pot. So given the implied odds, we make the call, and the cutoff calls too, further helping us out. Wow. So we're 4 ways to a flop with 445 in the middle. And there's a reason it's in the vlog. This flop comes queen 8-7 rainbow. Yes, and it doesn't stop there. The action guy, first to act, jams for $950. 2x pot, over 2x pot, ships it 4 ways. Under the gun +2 folds, and it is showtime, ladies and gentlemen. We call all in. The cutoff folds. There is now $2,345 in the pot. Reminder, this is a 1-2 game. That's well over 1,000 big blinds. Please come to Texas and run it with us, guys. We have so much fun. Anyways, let's head to a run out. The turn, the jack of spades, the river, the 6 of clubs, and he is about to show a hand that I never could have guessed. Pocket 9s. Yup, the 2x pot flop jam with 9s. We scoop potentially the biggest 1-2 pot of our career. Let's go.
Rosie.
We look down in this hand at pocket aces, the dream hand in what is becoming a dreamy night. It's going to be a long one. There's a $5 button straddle, and Jello opens the action, the cutoff for $30. Let's go. I go for a 4.5x size. I make it $135 to go. Jello snap folds. We're distraught. But then the button, like an angel in the night, comes in with a $500 all-in jam. We snap call as quick as you can, and I've actually been thinking that I should call a little bit slower. I'm still saying you should snap call, but don't call so aggressively, because I aggressively put my chips in the middle when he said all in. So we're going to run out for $1,000 with the best possible hand. Let's get the music going. He shows ace jack suited. We had him crushed, and now our stack's at well over $1,000 as we're going late into the night.
Shame.
Caught me. All right.
Whoa, what explanation?
There's this party
Oh.
Saturday night.
Okay.
These are chips I brought to buy in with.
Okay.
I'm being attacked.
All right, well,
I am bowing out of the challenge to go party.
all right. We lost Rosie. Let us know how the party is.
I will. You'll see.
All right, let's go.
These guys got 24 though.
He's already gone.
All right, it is 11 o'clock, and we just got called for 2-5, moving up to from 1-2 to 2-5. Let's go.
Let's go. Kilo bomb pot time.
Still going strong.
After a few more rotations, we eventually got all of the birthday money, getting it all in once again against a maniac with ace-10 offsuit, and finally, this time he had 10-7 offsuit, and we scooped. We move over to 2-5 once that hand concluded, and we're greeted immediately with pocket kings in the big blind. There's an early position open to 15, 3 callers, and I squeeze to 105. The initial raiser must be ready to head home because he goes all in for 425. Folds back to me, I call, and we head to a run out. Ace Queen 8 is not the flop I wanted to see. Turn 7 and river 3. He still hasn't shown though, so I flip over the Cowboys reluctantly. He nods his head, a sigh of relief enters my body, and he shows he had Queen Jack of clubs. We can beat that, and we scoop in this juicy pot.
Almost midnight. I am getting tired. 6 hours in, over 6, and sleepy boy hours. Should I get some Red Bull? Let's see.
As some of you may know, I'm currently in grad school, and that means finals are just around the corner. This 24-hour challenge wasn't going to faze me though, as you see me here casually scooping half of a $3,000 double board Omaha bomb pot, all while completing my engineering statistics homework on my computer in my lap. Multitasking at its finest. This hand, I missed a preflop action. A pro in early position opens at $20. There's one call, and I defend my big blind with ace deuce of spades. We flop the nut flush draw on queen jack 7. I check. The pro bets 45. The other guy folds, and this seems like a super strong hand betting the flop into 2 opponents, so I decide just to call. Turn is interesting. It's the ace of hearts. I check, and he bets 150 this time. It's a big bet, and although I made top pair, I have a hunch I'm going to need some help on the river. I don't give up just yet though. I make the call, and river is a black 4 of clubs. I check, and he bets $350. My hand is a pure bluff catcher on a board where I can't find too many natural bluffs. I give it up and make the fold, watching a lot of my chips get pushed the other way.
This hand is gonna go into the history books, and you're gonna figure out why very soon. We look down at pocket 2s in the low jack. I make it $15 to go. The button, who's been really spewing money, makes a call for $15, and the big blind player, who's our buddy Aaron, a live stream regular, a Discord member, a good friend of the channel, makes it $55 to go. My read on Aaron right now is that he's tilted. He just lost a hand previously, and he looked a little frustrated. We're happy to set mine here in a spot where, tilted or not, we're gonna make the call. We call 55, and the button fish makes the call 55 as well. Okay, everything's going according to plan. Why is this gonna hand hang the history books? Well, flop comes jack 6-3, not 2, jack 6-3. Big blind checks. Aaron's gonna be betting most of his good hands, and when I see the button is folding out of turn. So normally I would check 100% here, like no doubt about it. Pocket 2s, check, I missed my set, whatever. But because the button was folding out of turn, I decided to go for a bluff here. I make it $45 to go. The button snap folds like we expected, and then Aaron in the big blind does not make our life easy. He makes the call. Okay, he could have ace king, ace queen, ace 10. Turn comes the 9 of clubs, making a double flush draw on the board. Think this is a pretty normal spot to check it back and hope to just realize all of our equity with pocket 2s, but I actually decided to deny equity against ace king, ace queen, and give value for maybe potential draws. So I make it $150 to go, and Aaron min raises us to $350. I didn't think he was repping anything at all with this bet. Sure, he might have pocket 9s that turn a set. Check the flop, turn a set. Makes sense. And he might have slow played pocket jacks. That also makes sense. But that is only 6 total combinations, including those 2 hands. So I'm just in the blender right now with the worst hand I'll ever have. And then I take a look at the middle of the pot. I see, wow, oh my gosh. There is $700 in the middle, and I do what a tired, stupid man might decide to do. I decide to go for it all in, and Aaron snap calls me. Guys, this hits the history books. He has pocket jacks. He had one of those hands what we thought he might have, and we are dead as a doorknob. We run it twice, but it does not matter. And this hand put me over the edge. Jack, you are winning this challenge because I can't stand to sit here another second. I am disgusted at myself for just punting $1,000 US. Yeah, today was a rough ride home, to say the least. As you'll see in the outro, I'm pretty distraught.
This was a super interesting spot. A guy sits down who I can only describe as a bluffing warrior. We have a ton of hand history versus each other, and he's put me in some really tough spots. He clearly overbluffs though, and we run into that here when we wake up with ace king and raise a $60 in the cutoff over his $20 open. Folds around to him and he makes a call. Heads up in position to a flop of queen 7-6 with 2 clubs. He checks, I bet small for 30, and he sticks around for a call. Turn is the 10 of diamonds. He checks to me, and his range that ends up here is still so wide because of how small I bet on the flop, so I think we can really begin to put some pressure on him. I size up and bet $150, and wow, I did not expect this. He cuts out raising chips and makes it $350 total. I almost threw up in my mouth at this spot because, to be honest, I really think I should be calling here. We've got $700 behind to play for, 2 overcards, and the stronger range. He's repping straights, 2 pairs, and sets, but this guy in particular, if he had 9-8 for what's now a straight, 7-6 suited for 2 pair, or a set of 6s or 7s, I would have expected him to raise my small flop bet. The only real hand that makes sense at this point would be exactly queen 10 or pocket 10s. That's such a small amount of combinations, and I think he's going to be turning almost any draw he might have picked up into a bluff, so therefore ace king might actually be good here. I'm not ready to give it up just yet. I call for 200 more in position, and I cannot believe my eyes on this river card. It's the jack of diamonds. We make Broadway. The backdoor flush comes in, but we have that ace of diamonds, which makes it much less likely we're up against a flush. Our opponent now bets $400, leaving himself $300 behind. We cover him, and I'm going for all of it now. I go all in, and he snap folds. Looks like we caught him with his hand in the cookie jar, and we might have gotten a little lucky on the river to be able to do so. He would later tell me that he rivered a pair of jacks, so I'm assuming he had something like jack 9 or king jack. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.
Yeah, we are officially leaving because I am not staying a single second more. That is absolutely terrible.
NEXTGENPOKER, baby, what's up?
I couldn't take it being all alone at Poker House, so I called it a night too, but we made it pretty far into the challenge, in for 1,000, out for 2,200.